It doesn't look like it's over there. Okay, let's... I think that's it. That took a little longer than expected. How many chests is it? Probably not new. Doesn't look like it's... Okay. Alright, well, that was a lot of time. Oh, I'm already recording. Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to tonight's video. In this video, I am going to be finishing Dr. Baizhu's Story Quest Chapter 1. Probably should have been calling it Chapter 1 all this time because you never know, they might make a Chapter 2. They are making a Chapter 2 for Yoimiya's quest, so if they're going to make a second part for that, then I think everything else is on. Overall, I've been enjoying this. It's lived up to expectations, I would say. I always enjoy doing the character stories. Part of why I don't always do it right away is because I always want to make sure I've arranged enough time so I can do it all in one go, even though I kind of block them out into segments for YouTube. Um, Makes it a little bit more approachable as far as I know. So, anyway, let's continue on with part 3.
That strange feeling is back. It's just like the day I went missing. It's as if something inside me is trying to guide me somewhere.
The mother lode.
The mother lode's influence is growing stronger. But is it because we're getting closer to the source? Or because the leakage of Che blood is growing more severe? Jialiang, can you sense which direction the source is in?
I think it's this way.
Lead the way. Yes.
Yes, I'm sure of it.
It's interesting. We actually approached the house from this direction.
In my heart. This must be the way.
This wouldn't have made sense with the very beginning of the video.
This place feels familiar.
Oh,
I think I've been here before.
There's the domain. There's always a domain.
There is an inauspicious presence here. Even I can sense it.
I think I remember this place.
Jialiang, are you okay? Maybe you should rest here while we continue the search.
No, I have to keep going. Jiangli is still waiting for me.
She is?
Then let's hurry.
Okay, whatever. Well, this is the beginning of the domain. It's kind of funny because I don't know how... I know I was chasing a treasure chest earlier, and I'm not sure how much I'm going to keep of that in the video. But I literally just passed this place on the way to the house. So, in that sense, he should have been able to sense it as we walked by here. So he wouldn't have had to come back this way. And realistically speaking, this is the way that you'd want that you'd be able to come here, because you would have had to walk by that road and over, unless you're going to use a lot of gliding. All right, well that's my little spiel there, but going in here for sure. Yeah, said. Maybe I need to go back out and back a little bit so that... There it goes. All right. Tanglement of past dreams. it's requesting Dendro, which will be covered by Dr. Baizhu since he'll most likely be a trial character. It's also suggesting Geo. And that would be why. Geo Vishap hatchlings and Geo Vishap. And Heliotropes. Okay. So do I still want this team will still be okay. I don't have a Geo character. I have Xinyan, which will be plenty to deal with that. I know she's technically still in Liyue Harbor, but we're gonna leave Chi Chi in this just for fun. And um, don't technically need a Dendro character, but we're gonna leave Traveler in and Fischl just fine. So anyway, let's go for it. I know we're technically supposed to be using this to give Dr. Baizhu some screen time, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm wondering, I probably should have looked before I start. Looked before I started. I think, well, no, it wouldn't have told me. Yeah, sure enough.
This place gives Paimon the creeps. Who knows what we're gonna find up ahead? The digging marks here appear amateur and rather old. I suspect it is a thieves' tunnel. A thieves' tunnel? Paimon has heard rumors about treasure around these parts before. Maybe it was the treasure hoarders that dug this tunnel.
Judging by the tools they left behind, it's certainly a possibility. But why did they abandon this place without even stopping to pack up their tools?
I remember now. She took me here once and told me that she'd found a way to save me in this cave. But she said that the method would cause me to, curses. Why can't I remember what she said?
Easy, Jialiang. Come on, let's keep going.
Wonder if the markings that we saw. Okay, we can't switch characters, but as I was just wondering, do we have the Dendro resonance because we have two Dendro characters? Probably do. But anyway, keep our eyes open. There's some Heliotropes right here. Nothing too hard. Oh, more Heliotropes. Okay, let's just fish this.
Reveal thyself.
We already did plenty with the Traveler, so.
Whoa, there's a sensor here. Those treasure hoarders sure made themselves at home.
I don't see any dust on the sensor surface. Burn marks on the inside are still fresh. I don't think this was left here by the treasure hoarder.
I believe this sensor was used to burn a monster repelling incense.
A
Must have
monster
wore
repelling
off.
incense? You sure? Because we did run into that group of monsters just now.
The incense was burned several days ago. If I had to guess, the monsters we fought just now were enticed here by some entity deeper inside the cave. No doubt an encounter with the very same entity was what prompted the treasure hoarders to flee and abandon their designs on this cave. After them, Jiang Li was the next person to discover this place and what lies inside. But to her, it presented an opportunity to save Jia Liang's life, albeit as a last resort.
That's right. This sensor, it belongs to Jiangli. Yes, this was the place.
Mm-hmm.
This is where I told Jiangli to give me the poison.
It was partly his idea.
I'm fine. Let's keep going. I can feel it. She
Or maybe he already knows.
is right
Maybe he
below
already
us,
knows it's...
waiting for me.
Okay. That opens the door there. There's you. I know these domains well enough to know. In one of these things, probably nothing much. Maybe a common chest or two. Don't see anything here though. I'm going to make a prediction on where the story's gonna go. And we'll see if I'm right. I think that what we're gonna find out is that both of them got this idea to save his life long enough for their son to grow up. I think that follows with the markings we saw at the house. Um, I kind of suspect that this was just, like I said, he was probably already going to be dead by now. So might as well put the treasure compass away. If they hadn't done anything. So as a result, maybe doing this to extend his life, maybe long enough for their son to grow up, was what they had in mind. And maybe if that shortened her life too, that might have been what they were after. That's what my guess is right now. It's based on what we've seen so far with this story. Or what's going to happen going forward. I don't think either of them have much time left. She's been down here all this time. Leads me to believe that leads me to believe that there might be a bad reason why we haven't seen her. I think that Dad is kind of in. I don't know. I don't think he's got much time left either. I don't think Dr. Baizhu can keep extending his.
I can feel it. We're getting close.
Yeah. So I don't think he's got
It's
much
right up ahead.
time left
The
either.
place where we made a pact together to...
I think it's where okay.
We can keep going now.
From the looks of it, the energy released by this mechanism can not only clear barriers, but also be conducted by corresponding mechanisms. Perhaps it's something we can make use of.
I'm sure that's not the last time we'll see those. But yeah, that last exchange kind of leads me to believe that that's exactly what happened. Okay, there are multiple doors here. I know I can just start pushing
Doesn't
buttons.
see any barrier-breaking mechanisms around here. There are tracks here, and it looks like they're connected to something. Shall we follow it and see where it takes us?
Okay, which one do I want to do first? Well, we can't do this one yet because its tracks are broken. Okay, or maybe it's just going to go where it wants to go. So I want to push it the other way. There, okay, there we go. I want to go on the other door first. Not that I suspect it's going to make much difference. Okay. There we go. That deactivated this door. Go in here. And find a treasure chest. Okay. Anything else here? Just background stuff. Okay. Well, instinct was kind of correct there. Got the treasure chest. It would have been missable otherwise. Go in that door. Although that would be a hard one to miss. Okay. Aha. There's the miniature. They have. They're affected by something, that's for sure. It's burning on them.
By royal decree.
Now we'll just. Oh. Wondering when we'd start to see these. It's just a little one so far. They're just gonna be in there. Wait.
Reveal thyself.
This another one? I thought I got. Come on out of here. I didn't drop any. This guy. I'm just gonna have to suffice with the chest. There's still quite a bit. Not much else here. Okay. So a battle for battle's sake, maybe? Okay, no, this way goes forward. Because this is where we came in, right? Yeah, this is where we came in. And this is where we're going next. Okay. This opens a door. Okay, that's the third door that we saw here. Right? Yes. Well, no, we still have to open this one, but that's what this is for. Push this out. Push this to the right. And right here it should be in position. Oh, I meant to activate. I'm not activated from. Huh. I'm only getting to push. Feels like it should also be able to activate. Okay, actually, there might be another way. Okay, these are different. That's what the problem is. So I need to move this one back. And once this one is close enough and I activate that one, it will trigger a chain reaction. Yep. And that'll break that seal. There's nothing else I need to see. That was the switch that I saw over there. Okay. Right. To the left or the right here, so I'll move across. Supposed to go down there, but now there's nothing over here to see, is there? Not like it's gonna give me a choice. Okay. Yeah, I thought I saw that. I'll get back here. Right. Okay. Here's the big one. Here's the big one. Well, Xinyan's ready for this.
Jiangli!
Look out! There's a monster next to her!
The god remains must have lured them here. Watch my back.
By royal decree.
That view of Bishop is not gonna last very long against.
Scatter!
No, I was just thinking there's probably one thing I haven't been doing, which is probably should have been playing as Dr. Baizhu at some point during this
Dr.
instead of
Baizhu?
just relying
How
on
serious
literally
is it?
everyone else
Is
in my
she-
party.
I can
Okay.
still feel a pulse, but her condition is quite grave. The god remains here are encroaching on her cognition, much as the poison in your system did to you. If we don't eliminate it soon, then even if we save her life, I fear that she may never wake up again.
Then what are we waiting for? Let's destroy the remains right away!
Do we know how?
It's not as simple as that. Don't you remember what Baizhu said? The poison within Jialiang's body is inextricably linked to the god remains here. If the source is purged, the poison in his system will stop having any effect.
And then he'll die.
And the poison within Jialiang's body is keeping his heart condition under control. So, if it stops working... Oh
Da
no.
da 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 da
What
da.
are you saying?
Indeed. If the god remains here are purged, then your life will come to an end.
I wondered when this day might come.
Wait! But we've all been working our butts off to save Jialiang's life. After all that, we can't just give up on him. Baizhu, you're a great doctor. Surely you gotta know of some other way we can save him, right?
You could continue to take the poison, which would buy you some time. As for Jiang Li, maybe if we put our heads together, we can think of something?
It appears to me that she was striving to concoct your medicine for you, right up until the moment when she lost consciousness. Maybe it's her greatest wish that you will continue to take it and live.
Dr. Baizhu, give it to me straight. How long does Jiangli have?
The god remains have reached her internal organs. Under ordinary circumstances, I would give her less than 3 days. But if I were to treat her using a secret art,
Now, you can't be thinking about doing that again. There's only some.
But what would be the point of that? Dr. Baizhu, I'm all too aware of the dangers of God remains. You are not the first to mention it to me. If I continue to sustain my own life using this wretched substance, not only would Jiangli have to keep risking her life to make my medicine for me, but I would have to live with the looming threat of these remains breaking out and wreaking havoc not just upon me, but my entire family. I know for a fact that I should have died over a decade ago. The fact that I've been around to see Ayu grow up is already a great blessing from Rex Lapis. If my choice can bring Jiangli back, then even if I die.
Jialiang.
After cheating death for so long, it seems I've grown somewhat addicted to life. Traveler, Dr. Baizhu, could I have another minute with my wife? I just want to have one final moment together. Just a moment, that's all.
Of course.
Thank you, everyone. And I'm sorry that I won't be able to repay your kindness in this life.
Jialiang. Baizhu, Changsheng. Is there really nothing else you can do?
I am sure that over the years, Jiangli will have tried all the conventional methods known to humankind. As for less conventional methods, I have little expertise besides Changsheng's secret art.
Mortals are fated to grow old and pass on when their natural lifespan runs out. If it were so easy to combat the natural processes of aging and death, Jiangli would not have had to resort to unnatural methods. What a crazy situation! Jiangli risked it all to save Jialiang's life, and now Jialiang has to sacrifice himself to save Jiangli.
All he can do is honor his
What's
decision
the
and
point
bear
of it
witness.
all?
All he can do right now is honor his decision, bear witness. It's crazy. I have to believe it was for the kid. I have to believe that's what they did it for. I think that she knew that she was perhaps mortgaging part of her life expectancy to kind of extend his. I think that they wanted him to grow up so that he could move out, and then they would be able to accept the consequences of this. I think that's what the plan was. I think that what happened was is that just the receipts just came faster earlier than they wanted them to get. But that's the story that I'm seeing here. But the God remains gotta go. That's unfortunate, but I don't see God remains are probably way too dangerous to leave lying around. Help it. And they're both going to die anyway, because we can't keep letting Baizhu extend his life. Because otherwise, he'll burn himself out, and then he'll die anyway, and then yeah, there's only so much that Baizhu can realistically be expected to. So
I've seen many final farewells in my time, but I can never get used to it.
In the human realm, all things must come to an end. Is it not a fitting end to die for a worthy cause? At least, that's what generations of masters before you have always believed.
So I guess the question now is that if we get rid of, it's possible. I don't know how. I'm still trying to piece everything together. If we get rid of the God remains now, what does that? Does that mean that she's going to survive longer, or does she have 3 days period? And she's affected by the god remains. I'm just wondering if we remove the god remains, does she have? Is she going to be able to make a recovery? I think that's what we're angling towards.
The path they chose was indeed a heroic one. But when I think of those who would willingly sacrifice themselves for others, I cannot help but think that theirs are the lives least deserving of death.
When all this began, we agreed that once Ayu was old enough to help you gather herbs, it would be time for me to go. If you could only see him now. He took me all the way to Liyue Harbor to see the doctor. And he even got the Adventurers Guild to search for you.
That's what I said. That's why I said.
So, I know that you'll both be okay without me. I've said my goodbyes. My time has come. Do what you must.
As you wish.
I mean, he didn't have to break that, because once we get rid of the god remains, that it would go away anyway. What the? Well, sure. It's that easy to get rid of god remains.
It will eat away at both your cognition and your memories. In the end, you'll become little more than a shadow of your true self.
I'll take it. At the very least, it will allow me to stay with you and watch Ayu grow up.
Mom, something's really wrong with Dad. Don't fret, Ayu. I will gather some medicinal herbs right away. I promise you, nothing will happen to our family.
Why would these memories come to mind now?
Well, how do you...
The longer we live, the tighter we cling to what we have. Oh, how I would love to hear your voice one last time.
Oh, well. That's too bad. But I feel like they kind of foreshadowed that so much that it wasn't really a big surprise when it happened. That's probably for the best. But kind of... So are we now suggesting that she's now going to be okay? I mean...
Jialiang! 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 Dad, are you awake?
Jiangli, are you?
Well... Wow. This... I am floored, right? Because not because I'm seeing him alive right now, but because I can see all the sigils on his chest and on his arm and on his legs, which kind of almost harkens back to something I said in... I thought where I kind of noticed that he had some of the same memory issues that it seemed like Chi-Chi had. But because I didn't see the sigils, I suspected that he wasn't a zombie then, but is now. That's what those sigils mean. I guarantee it. And I'm guarantee Hu Tao's not gonna be happy when she finds out about this.
Didn't I... Huh? What are these?
How does it feel to come back to life?
Do you feel strange or different in any way? If so, could you describe it to me in detail?
Dr. Baizhu, I thought that I was going to...
You did.
Die? You did indeed. As things stand now, you're more akin to a zombie than a human.
I'm a zombie?
That's right. Before we set off, I asked Chi-Chi to prepare an elixir of immortality. With its help, you have been suspended in the space between life and death. Of course, this is but a crude imitation of an Adeptus art. I don't expect it to extend your life indefinitely. Whether it will keep you alive for a few days, a few months, or a few years, I am as interested as you to find out. But, however long you have left, I believe it should be more than sufficient time for you to say your final goodbyes before departing the world in peace. I hope that Director Who finds this arrangement to be a satisfactory one.
Well, this'll be interesting.
An elixir of immortality? How'd you cook that up? Ugh. Leave it to you to work on something like that behind my back.
It's a work in progress that hardly lives up to its name, and it would have had no effect were it not for Jia Liang's iron will. In the end, I am merely a doctor. I understand very little of the great principles governing life and death and the perpetual cycle of yin and yang. All I know is that if I'm presented with a life that deserves to be saved, I will do everything in my power to save them. And even this would have counted for nothing without Director Who's assistance. After all, did you not tell Jia Liang to show us the way before we set off for Qingsa village?
Oops. And I'm busted.
Without Director Who nudging things in the right direction, we may not have found Jiang Li in time.
So it was who? Yeah. Well, yeah, we did know she was listening.
No wonder he didn't mention the elixir back then. I thought he was being frank and transparent with me for once, but apparently not.
Director Who told me to keep her suggestion a secret, but it seems nothing escapes Dr. Baizhu's attention.
Never underestimate a serpent's sense of smell.
All I wanted was to help Jia Liang find his missing wife as soon as possible, so that he could be on his way to the afterlife without any unfulfilled wishes making the journey more difficult than it needs to be. Leave it to Boo Boo Pharmacy to snatch the perfect opportunity right out of my hands at the last hurdle. Never mind. I'll just have to put it down in the books as a deferred consideration. One Chi-Chi was enough of a conundrum. The last thing I need's another one. If I'd known this was coming, I'd have whisked him off to the Wangsheng funeral parlor the moment I found him.
You stay away from my dad! When I grow up, I'm gonna become an even better doctor than Mom and Baizhu, and cure Dad for good!
Oh, is that right? Well, you wouldn't be the first person who's tried to put Wangsheng funeral parlor out of business. If you're serious about it, you'll have your work cut out for you. Traveler, Paimon, I'll catch you all another time.
Is she finally gone? All's well that ends well. If you ask Paimon, we should probably do something to celebrate this hard-earned family reunion.
Paimon's idea of a celebration can only mean one thing.
At times like this, a grand celebratory feast is in order.
It feels like it was a whole lifetime ago when I last talked with Zhongli and Ayu around the dinner table.
This is a hard-won meal. Maybe I'll whip up something too. It's been a while.
Yay! Paimon can't wait! Alright, first things first, off to the market for some fresh ingredients. Let's go!
Wait up! I'll come too!
Baizhu, thank you so much for everything you've done for us.
Don't mention it, Jiangli. I was just doing my duty.
Just your duty, huh? Baizhu, Changshang, would you mind if we took this conversation outside?
Oh, so we're okay.
Now that you are part zombie, there are some rules that you need to know.
Uh, yes, ma'am. I'm listening.
First, don't forget to stretch your body regularly. Second, don't forget to...
Yes? Go on. Don't forget to.
I forgot.
Oh, okay. Nothing behind there, so guess we're leaving the back room. There's nothing else here. I it's I feel like it's interesting. I'm looking at this outcome from Baiju's perspective and from Hu Tao's perspective. They both make sense um, in their own ways. Um, I'm still processing it. I'm close. Don't so. But we have to follow Jin.
Time flies. It's been so long since we bade each other farewell in Chenyu Vale. Changshang, you're the same as ever. You haven't changed one bit.
You, on the other hand, have changed a lot.
You're right. My younger self would have never imagined that things would one day turn out this way. Or that you'd turn out this way, Baizhu.
Moving just a little bit quicker than Baizhu.
I've taken a look at your elixir of immortality. It's not altogether dissimilar from the poison I concocted in terms of the way it functions.
I have to say, Jiangli, it was a stroke of genius to use poison to maintain life. I hope you're not too upset at me for copying your methods.
No, not at all. With your intellect, even if you'd never seen my poison, I believe you would have eventually arrived at the same approach. But I'm still impressed by how quickly you managed to gain such a thorough understanding of it. Jialiang's still only been in your care for a few days. Not just that, you even managed to improve upon the original formula. That cannot be explained by intellect alone. Baizhu, be honest with me. Did you try out some of the poison on yourself?
Huh. Told you the truth would surface sooner or later.
Life force isn't the only thing that Changshang's contract lets you transfer between bodies, is it?
Nothing gets past you, Jiangli. You are correct. Besides life force, Changsheng's secret art also allows for the transfer of toxins and diseases.
That's what I said back from the very. When did I say that? Was it in part 1 or part 2? I thought that might be something that he was doing, but then it looked like.
When I treated Jia Liang for the second time, I transferred some of the poison from his body into my own. Not only did this allow me to alleviate the burden on him, but it also gave me an opportunity to study its properties. There is no need to worry about any long-term consequences to my health, however. Now that the source has been destroyed, any remaining poison in me will have already dissipated.
But you took such a huge risk. If we hadn't destroyed the god's remains back there, then even you might have...
We? Who's this we?
What am I saying? I'm in no position to criticize you for this.
There was no we. Dr. Baizhu did it solo. Even the Traveler didn't do anything. To destroy the god remains.
The reason I left our master and went into hiding all those years ago was that he was getting old, and I didn't want him using up any more of his own life force to treat my husband. But in the end, how were my methods any different? I risked one life to save another, and then you tried the poison on yourself too. It looks like both of us have ended up going the same way as our master before us. Are all disciples of Chenyu Vale destined to turn out this way? To live a short life, having given away our own for the sake of others? To fight relentlessly against the natural course of life and death, whatever the cost? Maybe our fate is sealed the moment we decide to study medicine.
Maybe not that your fate was sealed the moment you decide to study medicine, but when you decide to study this type of medicine.
We are doctors, Jiangli. We ought never say that anyone's fate is sealed.
Baizhu, I can tell that, over the years, you've used the contract with Changshang to transfer many diseases and toxins to yourself. There are so many that some of them I don't even recognize. Can you still stop before it's too late?
No.
I think you know the answer, Jiangli. Every one of us from Chenyu Vale believes in the same thing.
Hey, food's ready!
Mom, come and join us. The Traveler taught me a load of new recipes and said even Dad'll be able to taste them. Come and try them out.
Yes, darling. Mom will be there in just a second. Hey, slow down. Baizhu, I know I won't be able to convince you, but please don't forget that if one day you're not around anymore, Chi-Chi, Gui, and all the friends who have grown fond of you, they will all miss you dearly.
There's no need to worry, Jiangli. I know what I'm doing.
Do you, though?
I can only hope so.
Do you, though? I don't know. Yeah, he does.
Baizhu, what did Jiang Li mean by not around anymore? Are you gonna be okay? Every single mortal I've ever contracted with, including Baizhu and Jiang Li's master, has passed away at a young age. Wait, that doesn't make any sense. You said that the contract with you helps people live longer.
It is a very long story.
Long story that we're gonna see in a cutscene.
Long ago, when plagues ravaged the land, one doctor made a pledge to rid the world of pain and suffering. But even the most ingenious mortal medicine could not stay the tide of disease. And after working tirelessly for many years, even his dearest loved ones fell sick and bade their final farewell. Legends told of an herb lord in Chenyu Vale who could cure any illness known to mankind. The doctor sought the herb lord, but found only a white snake, its breathing weak and its power all but spent.
Sign this contract and let our lives be joined. Then I will impart to you the secret art of healing. But be warned, this art will harm your own health.
With means beyond human ken, the doctor could now reverse the process of death. And yet, the time still came to say goodbye. Only now, the one departing was the doctor, his life force spent. His final act in life was to pass on the contract to his final patient, his favorite disciple. The disciple chose to dedicate their life to saving the lives of others. And generation upon generation followed in these footsteps. Since I inherited this contract, I've always respected the path taken by my predecessors and followed it myself unquestioningly. That is until I tried to use the art to save my own disciple's beloved. She begged me not to use up my own life force. She said that this art is a poison chalice, an evil and unnatural practice. She did not wish to sacrifice one life for the sake of another, when both were lives she treasured. Only then did it occur to me. Did I not suffer when my master passed away, just as patients' families do at their loved one's deathbed? Are not the lives cut short by this contract just as worthy of saving as any patients? What is this contract to us? Medicine or poison? Alas, I no longer have enough time left to find the answer. I entrust to your care both Changsheng and this final question. May you find a remedy for this conundrum, which has ailed us so.
Time and again, no matter how much I try to warn them or balance their chi, I can never save them. And you? What's your answer?
If I abandoned the contract and left you without a host, what would happen?
I suppose I'd spend my final moments taking a nice nap on Mount Yaojin. Then I'd be reunited with my old friends and your predecessors.
Then it's decided. If there's a life in front of me that deserves to be saved, why shouldn't I do everything within my power to save it?
Once again, it's the same answer. So be it. Close your eyes. Who knows how many more people will take on this contract?
None. This contract will end with me.
My contract has strict requirements on the host's natural temperament. All my hosts have been most pure of heart.
But when one with an altruistic nature gains access to this art, they are more seduced than the average person by the miracle of overturning the laws of life and death. Though they know better than anyone else the fate that awaits them, when faced with the sorrows of humanity and the pain of losing their nearest and dearest, they cannot help but reach beyond human means. They are like moths that throw themselves into the flame, seeking a glimmer of hope in a dark world filled with pain and suffering.
So, Baizhu, does that mean...
I suppose that would make me a moth that yearns for the light, but doesn't want to be burned to a crisp. Changsheng's art can transfer pain and suffering between people, but it cannot reduce the total amount of pain in the world. It's just like we witnessed. Either Jia Liang feared for Jiang Li's life, or Jiang Li grieved over Jia Liang's sacrifice. I have nothing but the utmost respect for my predecessors, who sacrificed their lives for their principles. But I do not wish to join their ranks, nor do I wish to pass on this contract to anyone else in the future.
It's not, well...
Huh? But didn't you already transfer a ton of diseases onto yourself?
What makes a poison, poison? And what makes a disease a disease? When it comes down to it, are not both mechanisms that affect the operations of the human body? If disease is defined as deviation from normal functioning, then who knows? Perhaps the true elixir of immortality could in fact be a kind of poison. Many may view the notion of searching for immortality in poisons and illnesses as a flagrant violation of the natural order. But to me, it is no different from the way our ancestors tested the medicinal qualities of herbs by sampling each and every one. I don't want those who come after me to lose their lives to this contract. Nor do I wish for Chengsheng to perish from losing her host. This leaves only one solution, doesn't it?
You want to become immortal yourself.
Precisely. I will be Chengsheng's final host, and the tradition of passing down the contract will end with me.
Even the gods of old struggle to achieve true immortality. First you want to save others, then you want to save yourself. Now you even want to save me. You're getting greedy, Baizhu.
I would agree.
But isn't wanting to have it all what makes us human? For a selfish moth like me, who's afraid of the flame yet yearns for the light, the only path forward is up towards the moon.
Well, good luck getting there.
For once, Paimon just does not know what to say.
Dr. Baizhu, Traveler, what are you still chatting about? The food's about to get cold.
We also have coconut milk for Changsheng and Paimon.
Okay, fine. Let's go grab some food. Paimon has a bunch of burning questions, but they can wait till after we've eaten.
Oh, Paimon. Okay.
I do envy Paimon sometimes. Eating her fill is enough to satisfy her body and mind.
True. And yet, although we call them simple pleasures, are such things as these not precisely why we mortals cling desperately to the life we have?
That it. That is it. Okay. Before we call it, Baizhu's not over here. Okay. I suspect this is the end of it, but let's just go up here and just see if there's any other things to see up. Doesn't look like it. They're probably. I think this is probably it, but we'll just kind of walk around Liyue Harbor a little bit, just to make sure there isn't any other scenes that might go away once things move. Again, I don't suspect that there are any. The places I checked are the ones that would have been the most likely. Only one other place I want to check first, but overall, like I said, the idea of what he's doing, you can see it from the perspective of both himself and from Hu Tao. With Hu Tao, what he's doing is he's kind of disrupting the order of life and death. And yeah, what she tried to do was to walk right by it. Funeral parlors around here somewhere. That's right there. And she's not here. Okay, well, I figured this would be worth trying to see if she's here. But anyway, I think that what Hu Tao said to some people might come across as being callous, but it's what her values are and who she is. When you think about it in perspective of that, what she did as far as not nudging him in the right direction, basically trying to move things to that. She wanted him to get to save his wife and be able to end with no regrets. Which if Baizhu didn't have the elixir of immortality, probably would have worked. Now, whether what that would do to his wife and what it would do to their son, which I keep forgetting everyone's names, that's a different story. And what Baizhu did in terms of that just kind of kicked the can down the road. Um, they mentioned that the elixir of immortality probably would be limited to and to a certain extent. So it's not really, it didn't make him full um, immortal or full zombie or anything like that. So yes, so I can I can also see it from Baiju's side, and he is a doctor. Whatever power he has, he's going to use that to save lives. And um, I have known plenty of people in that profession that would try to save that might look at risking their own safety to save others as noble pursuit, particularly if what they're doing could save more lives than just one. So I don't, I kind of see it from both sides. I don't really feel like either side is right or more right than the other, I guess I should say. But it's a very interesting conundrum. Baiju's idea of making himself immortal so that he doesn't have to pass on the contract and Snake never has to die. I think that's a lofty goal, and I think it's probably not. I don't. It wouldn't. There's no way it could possibly, in my mind. It just seems like that would end up. It would have to fail at some point because you can't just. I think that they did a pretty good job of explaining that there's a balance between what nothing is truly subtracted from the world in terms of the diseases and poisons. He's basically just transferring it onto himself where he can manage it more, I guess. So, with that in mind, I don't think that there's ever a way. I don't think he'll ever find a way to achieve true immortality. He can probably just kick the can down the road far enough until he can't, which is what the parents did. They kicked the can down the road until they couldn't anymore, and that's how it ended for them. And this is how this chapter is going to end. Overall, I enjoyed it. I didn't use Dr. Baizhu in combat 1 second. Uh, but that was on me. I probably should have because I wanted to kind of give him another shot. But overall, I just when I played him in the test run, I didn't see anything that would lead me to believe that I would use him any way, shape, or form over other characters I already have. Would I use him? And given that he's a Dendro catalyst user, the question I would ask myself is when would I use him when I could use Nahida instead? There's very rare situations that might be the case. I haven't even finished building Nahida. I can tell that she is much more uh, tuned to how I would play than Dr. Baizhu. So, but there's certainly other people that will have a different um, thought than I do, and a lot of people I would imagine would have a different take on ending. But anyway, that's going to do it for me. If you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like, subscribing to this channel. Um, Leave a comment below and tell me what you thought of this story. Did you agree with my assessment, or do you more likely than not have a different opinion? I definitely would like to hear it. And I also stream on Twitch, Genshin Impact, and occasionally other games. So consider following me on there. Um, I'm not sure what I'm going to record next. I know that 3.7 will have a lot of Genius Invocation TCG, so I might bump up my content in that area. I certainly have hangouts I need to do as well. So, whatever is coming up next, I will see you next.